Okay. Okay, we're live. All right, this is great. This is a little different than we've done before. Normally we just get one person, but now we have two people. And what happened was is that Patricio, you see him over there, and well, let me get myself on the screen here. We get uh, Patricio, and he and I have been going back and forth. You know, here he is. I'll pop him up there. Say hi, Patricio. There you go. Yeah, Patricio and I, we went back for a long time. You know, he was when I was doing the podcast, and he had this amazing. In fact, I'm going to try to find those podcasts. Now that I think about it, and put them onto the summit for you guys to listen to. He had a really good one. He had, out of all the different experts I had, and I had a lot of the big boys. You know, he had the most people listen to his podcast overall. He just had a really good subject, and he's a good speaker, and he's a great guy. And then he is working with a new organization, and he told me about Kristen here. We just put this thing together, I think today, and so this is a real treat. I know very little about what's happening here, and they're going to tell us all about it. So I'm just going to let you guys tell us, and let's have Kristen introduce herself.
Hey there. I'm Kristen Hartnagel, and Pat and I are with Southwestern Consulting, and just excited to be here with you to talk about how to improve your customer experience.
And well, tell us how you got into it.
Well, Southwestern is a parent company, and they have about 11 operating companies under the Southwestern umbrella. And I was working for a different company for probably about 20 years when I was recruited to come on to the consulting division. So really, we have taken some of the best sales practices, leadership skills and development, and created a company where we go out to the rest of the world and share some of those best practices. So it's just been a real wonderful journey to be on. And now I'm happy to have Pat be part of that team as well.
Yeah, he's a real asset to that. So I'm going to put him on. Hey, Patricio, get on here, man. I got you on stage.
Yes.
Yeah, and tell us a little
much.
bit. People, they don't know you. I know you, but they don't know you. And tell us a little bit about your background experience and also, you know, what you're doing now.
Sure. Thank you very much, Abraham. It's a pleasure, and certainly a pleasure also to have Kristen on board with us and this what we call panel interview. As if you recall from our last podcast that we did successfully, is I actually got into the profession or the career of sales and customer service at a very young age, and I just didn't know what it was back then. All I knew it was work. But then as I educated myself and had opportunities in life and started working in retail, it became very apparent that this was going to be my career. It became very apparent that there was a science and an art to this, and not just typically, if you recall 15, 20 years ago, people, especially in sales or especially retail sales, were just working there until they found a real job. You know, today, nowadays, you have many universities, many educational institutions offering accredited academic certificates in both sales and service. So again, sales and service comes from a science and an art. And at Southwestern Consulting is one of the most important ethos, and we're going to talk a little about standards, is that we practice what we preach. So that's very important. Kristen, would you not agree?
Oh, absolutely. We absolutely have to be practitioners first in order to be experts, to be able to pass it on, right?
Most important.
Well, you know, you guys have prepared us some special stuff. And, you know, because part of the CX Success Summit is that we want to give people actionable items that they can go out and do, like right now, get some results. And you know, that's what they came for. So let's go. She's going to share her screen now with us. So she can do that. I'll just be on here because sometimes you get that like forever thing happening there. And so she's going to do that there. But we really, you know, this really motivated me to think about putting the podcasts on there because I had several of those. And I think I'm going to throw those in there for you folks as well. So here we go. She's got it up here. ACE. I like that because, you know, ACE, that's my company back in the States was called Ace Trophy. So this is good. I like that. All right, Kristen, take it away.
Fantastic. Well, we're happy to have this time with you, and we just want to give you a couple of actionable items that are going to make a difference in your business when it comes to your customer experience. So first of all, we're going to have Pat kind of discuss what it means to have customer service and some stats that we're going to review. So take it away, Pat.
Sure, definitely. Thank you. Okay, one of the most important things to keep in mind in any business, any organization, that when we talking about there's two categories of customers. There's the internal customer and the external customer. So, and you'll see in one of our slides by somebody very famous who talks about that. Listen, if you really want to deliver the highest, the most professional, the most competitive advantage customer service, you've got to treat your employees right. So the way that you treat your employees, that's the way they're going to treat your external customers. And some of the things that we can share just statistics wise, and we're going to show you a slide about what's happening in 2020. But think about this. There's only about 1.7 to 2% of the world's population are bad people, evil people. So many companies, what they do is they put on standards or protocols or processes, they say, to actually address those 2% and then negate the other 98% of good customers. So the challenge is to make sure that we understand that, 98% of the people are really good people and they're trying to be good customers. Unfortunately, even the best companies, sometimes something happens, something goes wrong. Therefore, then we have to execute what we call a customer service strategy. In this particular case, Kristen and I would call it the ACE, the awesome customer experience. How do we deliver? How do we train everybody? How do we get everybody to create a culture where there's an awesome customer experience? One of the things we can tell you, 62% of customers purchase more after a good customer service experience. Imagine that, 62%. What a fascinating number. We're going to the next one. So when we talk about customer service, it affects your revenue. And you can see here in 2020, what it's talking about is 86% of buyers will pay more for a better customer experience. So that means, again, that 14% is not going to matter what kind of customer experience. But if you really want to convert the high traffic, add on those sales, get a higher average sale, and impacting customer retention, you've got to be ready, because right around the corner, we've got 86% of buyers will pay more, come back. Even when we do something wrong, but we know how to treat the customer right, they'll be back and they'll forgive us and do business with us. All right, Kristen, let's share the next one now.
You got it.
All right, why don't you do this one? Because this one's really you hit it more often with this.
You know what? To me, I would have to say this comes from my heart. It's hard to be nervous when your heart is in service. That's one of my very favorite quotes of all time. So how good are you at shaping the whole culture of your organization so that they all understand, if they're talking to any of your customers or potential customers, how important their role is, because everybody plays a part when it comes to the customer experience. It is the differentiator between just being good and being great. And exceeding expectations really starts with making sure you have some standards in place. We need to understand that it's the response time and your being available that is more important than having something that is over the top by, I think there's a misconception that we need to wow our customers. And what research is showing, that it's way more about response time and your being available and easy to contact when they need you. That's far more important than the pizzazz. So great customer service is up to each individual. And this is what you were talking about, Patricio, that I think Richard Branson is the epitome of understanding the importance of culture. If you treat your people right, they're going to turn around and treat your customers right. Another one of my favorite quotes by him is that if you can train people well enough that they could go anywhere, you also need to treat them well enough so that they won't want to go anywhere else. So your customers are not only who you would typically think of as customers, but they're your employees. They're every stakeholder in your organization.
You know, what I wanted to just to chime in here a little bit is that there's been discussion here about this idea of, that we just had in our master classes, about the idea of wow customer service. That was Adrian Swinsko he was talking about. That was his master class. And the real wow was just having a, and this, who else spoke about this was Don Peppers, frictionless customer service experience, we say it, where you know, the wow is, you know, the wow, it shouldn't even be felt. It's just that when you feel it, it's nice that you have this over the top every now and then, but then, you know, what are you going to do for me next time? And I didn't come to your company to you know, I didn't come for I came to get the product. You know, I didn't come for, you know, if I wanted entertainment, I go to the movies, right? Or, you know, it depends. It also depends on the type of business you're in. If you're in the hotel business or the entertainment, then yeah, then you need to. But when you're just in a hardware store or something like that, you're not, you know, you just want to, like what you're talking about, is have those basic benchmarks in there that you're able to get in touch with somebody quickly and easily, and then have that, you know, whatever, if you do happen to have a problem, that it's solved, you know, painlessly. So yes, that was my 2 cents I wanted to pipe in there, and just, you know, and just point out that I like where you're going with this thing. You're just right on the money there. So continue on, bring it on.
You got it.
All right. So talking about the money. All right. Where we're looking at here is why improve customer experience. If you recall, again, 20, 25 years ago, you know, customer service actually came because of a complaint department. That's the origin of a customer service department. So it got from complaint department, it got upgraded to customer service, and it usually was some person that no one liked or some underperformer, a salesperson. They put in a corner on there and stuck a sign that was customer service. Well, today customer service sits in the C-suite. It is part of P&Ls. It can be measured. And it has to be talked about, and it impacts the bottom line, the bottom line revenue. So why should you improve it? There are 3 key reasons on here, just real quick here. You improve the customer retention by 42%, significant number. Number 2, improve customer satisfaction by 33%. Now, today, we even go above customer satisfaction. We're talking about customer loyalty. You know, we want customers to be loyal, not just satisfied, but loyal customers that keep coming back no matter what because of the service that we gave them, that awesome customer experience. Number 3, it's increased cross-selling and upselling. So if you really look at it, when you have a well-trained, you know, top-notch customer service team, sales service team, that means that your organization, your team is firing up on all cylinders. They're going hot. They're going great. And all that does is creates a competitive advantage, an overwhelming competitive advantage that no matter who comes in, and we talk about barriers to market to entry, but it doesn't matter, because guess what? They can't replicate your people, but they can replicate any of the products, anything else, but they can't replicate the culture, that awesome customer experience that you offer.
You know, you really hit it on the head. Is with all of the noise, we have, as businesses, we have to cut through the noise, and the differentiators aren't so much going to be the product or the service. It's going to be, can they feel your heart? Do they feel better as a result of working with you? And so I always like to ask companies, why are you wanting to focus on customer retention, customer service? Because if they really aren't in touch with their why, then they're not sure what they're pouring money into. And so we have to really get to the bottom of, do we really have an understanding of the fact that customer service becomes our differentiator? It is the experience of the customer that is taking over the importance of the quality and the service. Now, of course, we want that to be top notch too, but it's the way people feel. It's the way you make people feel that keep them coming back.
Well, yeah, you were saying that, and is Colin Shaw talks about that, where 50% of the customer experience is feelings. And then there's about 20 types. Like, he has like a list of the 20 feelings or something like that. But it's important that you get in touch with that, because We're talking about how people, like you said, feel about doing business with you. I think the where things are going, and this is what Don Peppers was talking about. That was is trust.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bottom line. You know, if
Yeah.
you're talking about customer loyalty, you know, I like, for example, I'm now trying to find someone to do a little bit of building, and you know that industry is really, you know, a little shaky, and it's scary, you know, to go out there. So what do? You first thing, you try to find somebody that can recommend, because you need to be able to trust this person, and
Mm-hmm.
that's, you have to feel safe to do business with them. And the other feeling is that you want to feel that you made a smart choice. So here you go.
Yes.
You got your 5 best practices in customer service. So let's do it.
All right. So as every in summation, what we're talking about, this is a really good diagram, kind of a journey map that says, it starts to make customer relationships a priority. It's not just training people and taking off the box. It's measuring their performance, looking at their discipline, coaching on those opportunities to make sure that that they deliver the most awesome customer experience. Listening to the customer, honoring the commitments, like we all know that we should be, professionals at what we do. But it's to make sure that that journey of the customer, from the minute that we're in their mind to the minute that they continue buying with us, they want to come back, they want to continue doing business, and most of all, then they go out and they tell everyone how great we are.
You got it. And I think that the research is really coming down on these other points, that are you accessible, or do they have to wait on hold for 20 minutes? And I was just talking to my team leader about customer experience, and she was telling me that she and her husband bought a bed. It was a very high-end bed. They came in, they assembled it, and it was misassembled. So they called immediately as soon as they realized it, and they were put on hold. They had to be transferred from person to person to person after everybody saying, "That's not my department, please hold." 2 hours passed. And when they finally got to the person who could handle the call, what they were really hoping is that that installation person could just turn around and come back. But by now he's 2 hours away. So are you accessible? Have you been able to climb inside the experience of your customer to know, my gosh, do you think the owner of that company knew that they had been jockeyed around and juggled from person to person, and they waited for 2 whole hours when they were unhappy? That customer, that just like the Undercover Boss show, they would probably be reeling if they realized that's what their customers were experiencing. So can you respond in a timely manner? Can you honor the commitments that you've made? Are you really listening to your customers? So just some more really amazing stats this is what the research is showing. What do they claim is a good customer interaction? Well, the biggest thing was that you responded quickly. The person who helped me was pleasant. Do you have nice people that are on the other phone with your clients and customers? That the problem was resolved in one interaction. They weren't being passed from person to person. They weren't on eternal hold, lost in the abyss. That the outcome that they originally hoped for is what was contracted originally. So, when they go right ahead.
Yeah. So to create this culture, right? To create this movement, obviously one of the first things we got to do is we got to hire the right people with the right attitude, right? Number 2 is we have to give them the standards of what we want in our customer service environment. And number 3 is we have to help them to succeed. And most of all, to be able to do that, we look at the first statistic. 69% said the problem was resolved quickly. So in order for people our employees, our team members, to resolve it quickly, they have to be empowered. They have to be given the tools. They have to be given the ammunition to be able to resolve those issues, and not like what Kristen was saying. You get passed from one person to another, another phone call here and there. And by that time, it's a nightmare.
What's so interesting is that we can listen to this data and we can go to our team of people and say, okay, I know what the problem is. We need to resolve problems more quickly. But just like Pat said, if we're not equipping them with what does resolving an issue quickly look like? what's wrong with our current system, what needs to be reevaluated, and maybe we don't continue to do things the way we've always been doing them. If it's not being resolved quickly enough, we need some new training. We need some new ways of equipping our people to be able to handle them quickly, and to, maybe we need scripts or talk tracks as to how to be more nice, to be more pleasant. And those are things that people can be trained on.
It's interesting that you're saying this, is that I'm sure a lot of the audience out there, we have a lot of frontliners out there just nodding their heads going, yeah, I just need these tools and I can do a good job, but the company is not behind me. And the problem comes a lot of times is that when the upper management tries to implement something, they don't follow through themselves, or they're not good examples of it. It's like I call people have heard me say this over and over again about the CEOs, the chief example officer. And everyone in the company can be a CEO, is a chief example officer. However, if that, CEO isn't a real example, and, in other words, there's no leadership then. That's not leadership.
You got it.
So that's what people need. They need that leadership that's going to, listen and help them to do the job they need to do in the right way. So you're right on the money there. Yeah. All right. What do you have here now? Setting proper expectations. All right, let's go.
So how are we making sure that our customers know what we're going to follow through on if we have not set some expectations on the front end? So don't promise that we have a 24-hour response time if you can't deliver. If they know that typically we can get right back to you and have a solution within 48 hours, then they won't expect 24 hours. So how are we communicating? It's really the key, is making sure everybody understands on the front end.
You say this, and this is so important, and I've said this in a lot of these expert sessions, and about that, is that even in what people write down, when they write down, we're here and we're going to give you the best customer service, our goal is to take care of you. When I see that, I don't trust that. I know I'm in trouble already, because they don't even know what they're talking about.
You're so right.
And 9 times out of 10, they don't. When I call them, hey, here's my problem, and it just, I'm flabbergasted. It's you wrote down, I'm supposed to have a great experience, and I'm not, and you're really not helping me, and you're not even close to helping me. And so why did you even put that? Because now I don't believe you even more. So that goes back to that trust issue, and people should really, they shouldn't write those kinds of things down. Just, they say actions are better than words.
Well, who can blame them? They're really wanting to attract a client base, so they're making promises. I think what we see working with thousands of companies is that we all know the importance of a mission statement and the vision and the way we want customers to see us, which is why we say those things. But then we don't break it down into tangible actions. And it's really those tangible actions that our customers need to be educated on. Hollow promises are not going to cut it anymore. And that's why setting proper expectations is so important.
Right. And it's important, is really, we're going back to that trust issue. They're expecting us to believe this stuff, and we don't. When you get someone answer the telephone saying, hey, I'm here to give you the best customer service ever, and you're like going, no, you're not. You're just saying that.
Yeah.
Just don't just say hello. How can I help you?
You got it. So right. First, what is the next step? But second, are you consistent with that? Are you able to have the teeth on what you just claimed? What is the proof in the pudding? So the way that you are communicating and the tone, and really, if we can help all of our employees understand that everything we do is a reflection on us. So it's way more than it's way more than just the experience. It's the experience is sewn up in how well did we set the expectations, and then how consistent were we in following through.
You know, that also goes for what Patricio was talking about with the internal customers,
Mm-hmm.
employees, and building that trust with them and setting the expectations. Where when we're talking about empowerment, if they're coming up with a new way of doing things and then they never follow through, then that trust, it's the same thing. They lose their faith. The employees do. So it's setting the proper expectations. You're right. Setting realistic expectations. I think that's that's another way of putting it here.
You got it. You got it. Anything to add here, Patricio, before I move forward?
No, let's go to the next one so we can get into the amazing process that we're going to share with everybody. So number 3 is don't overpromise. Now, statistics and experience indicates that many frontliners really want to do a good job. I mean, I think Abraham, Kristen, we all believe, and I know that a lot of the people that are joining us believe that at least 98% of us get up and go to work every day wanting to do a good job and be successful. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Right. So what happens though is then all of a sudden, as they enter the shop floor or their place of business, reality hits, and therefore when sometimes they want to, well, they always want to deliver great service, but they don't have the tools, they don't have the training, or sometimes they have managers that shouldn't be managers or don't know how to coach them right. So and then what happens is the poor individual has not been trained on how to, for instance, handle an irate customer, how to diffuse a situation, how to listen to a customer and, ask them the right questions, to offer solutions, to thank them, and to minimize any conflict. So what's the first thing they do? Well, they overpromise, overcommit, because at least all of a sudden they feel, oh, wow, I'm out of this one, but I don't know how we're going to do it, but at least I calmed the customer down. So because we didn't train them right, we don't give them the right tools to be able to handle that, then they get into more problems.
Boy, we have all felt what it feels like to be in a pickle. When somebody's mad at us, don't we want that situation to be over as quickly as possible? So sometimes that's when we'll say anything, especially if we're not trained right. And that's really the bottom line. So if you can just think of one way that you can, get a grip on how you can go above and beyond in a way that is not setting them up. Again, if I tell them that they're going to get apples and that's what they're expecting, but they get cranberries, they're going to be sour. So what's one way that I can under promise and over deliver? One of the things that I've done in my own consulting world is if I know it's going to take me 2 days to write a proposal, but then it's going to take my team of people 3 or 4 days to review it and add what they want to add to it, I'm not going to say, we'll have this to you by the end of the week. I'm going to say, give me a couple of weeks for my team and I to collaborate and we'll get back to you. And then if I can deliver it in 5 days, then everybody's happy. And so you really want to ask yourself, what is that one thing that maybe we can rephrase so they have proper expectations and we're under promising and over delivering? And like Pat was saying, the bottom line is, we just haven't been equipping our people. So that's what we want to do, is we want to talk about a little bit of a talk track. How can we create a formula, if you will, for handling somebody who's upset? So we're going to talk about a methodology called CREW. And there's a 4-step process here. And it really is an acronym. So if you can remember CREW, then hopefully you'll be able to leave this call today with an actionable plan on how to turn around somebody who's not very satisfied. So step 1 is to calm them down, to be very empathetic, to let them talk. One of the first things that we see when we're shadowing teams who are in a role of customer service is that they want to defend the company. But they're coming having thought about the situation, having spent a lot of time becoming upset about the situation till they reach the point where they want to pick up the phone and call you, and you've only had 10 seconds to process it. So you want to remember, I can't be nervous if my heart is on service. My heart is on them and their experience. So what if I just allow them to vent? Wow, it sounds like you're really frustrated. That did not go the way you were expecting, did it? And then even ask, is there anything else? That allows you to let the steam all the way out, because we can't really turn them around if they still have a lot of energy pent up. So by being empathetic and letting them talk through the situation, and then even asking, is there anything else? Then you can kind of regain and reframe for them. So step 2 in crew is the step of R. You want to actually resell or reignite them on why they went to work with you in the first place. So just remind me, if you will, what was it about our product or service that made you want to work with us in the first place? Now you're letting them talk about what attracted them to you. The third part in crew, the E, if you will, is to explain. It is okay to say, you know what, that was our mistake. We actually are in the middle of a transition. We did not foresee this happening. We're certainly sorry. Whatever the situation is, if we can make sure that we're explaining it in a way that just takes all of that energy out of it, and we want to own it. We really want to own it. We're not going to pass the buck. We're not going to blame it on somebody who had no experience. We're going to really tell them the real deal. And then the fourth part of crewing somebody is to work out a way. And my favorite thing to do here, I know that our tendency is for us to be creating, wow, how can I really go above and beyond so that they love us again? But often they'll know exactly what it would take to make them move beyond this situation. So my favorite thing to do is to ask them, so you came to this call really upset. What would make it better for you? What would it take to earn your trust again? And let them talk. Because often what they said was, you know what, to be honest, I just wanted to know that this doesn't happen to everybody. I just wanted to know that you heard this. And sometimes that's enough. It's amazing that people really thrive on feeling known and needed, valued and appreciated. And so helping them vocalize what was, weighing on their heart, and then asking them, what would it take to earn your trust? Sometimes that is enough. But then be willing with some other things. And so Pat has some great ideas when it comes to having some things up your sleeve in order to win people back.
Awesome. Crew. Just very 4 easy steps, or a 4-letter word to help us get into the right frame of mind. Right. So one of the ways, or the actionable items and tips that we can give you to start making that paradigm shift and seeing a customer from a different point of view is treating them as a guest. And today, many of the service and hospitality sectors have started this way. Talk to individuals as guests rather than a customer, but treat them as guests. And because the end result is we want to continue to develop.
Hey, Patricio?
Yes.
You might want to get a little closer to the speaker there. You're kind of fading.
Oh, sorry about that. How's that? How's this now?
That's much, because you're just get close to the speaker as you can there, because you're not using the camera. So it'll be better it will hear you better if you do that.
Okay. You want me to scream?
No, you sounded loud and clear. Perfect. Right, go ahead. Let's just start over on what you were saying there, so we can make sure people got it.
Okay. So, crew, a 4-letter word to help us understand the importance and the how to be able to diffuse a situation. It gives us a tool to be able to take care of that irate customer, but also is prevent any issues. And it also makes us look like a professional, feel like a professional. So therefore, our internal customer, which is our employees, feel good on how to be able to treat our external customer and an awesome customer experience. One of those steps and one of the ways to do that is to consider everybody that they are a guest at your home. They're a guest in our business. The hospitality sector has started to do this years and years ago, and it's given them great results. It's because they don't see the individual as somebody who's checking in. They don't see him as a customer. They see him as a guest in their business environment. So with that understanding is we want to know, okay, so what are the three things that with the audience, what are the three things that today we can walk away with and again, think differently, and if it makes sense, then say, hey, how do I do that? So let's share with you what the ACE game plan is. So the game plan is, there are 3 steps we'd like to share with you that Kristen and I have come up with you, and we'll see it right here. The ACE 3 steps, making it happen. Number 1 is a reality check. It is, and Kristen had mentioned earlier, The Undercover Boss, which is a great show. And every organization should do everything that they can to be able to really get that reality check on the dashboard of how is a customer really being engaged, not just treated, but engaged fully. So that to have an unbiased, unfiltered way of doing that. Many companies different ways. As we were saying earlier, what we do is, with all our clients that we work with, is offer what we call an undercover customer experience, right? To get that reality check. Number 2, very important, is to develop, implement, and monitor non-negotiable standards. In this purpose, I would recommend just take a look to 1 to 3 non-negotiable standards. Non-negotiable standards are not just standards, but they're above those standards. These are that can be measured, they can be coached on, and most of all is that it drives the business. I'll give you an example. In retail, one of the most non-negotiable standards that is frequently used in retail is that as soon as as soon as a customer walks in through the door, they must be acknowledged. It doesn't matter if you're doing operational things, but you must acknowledge the person. Another one is that every customer at the counter, when you're cashing them out, they will, besides thanking them and inviting them back, the question you must always consistently always ask is there anything else you would like? Right? So developing those non-negotiable standards makes sure that everyone is delivering that same level of awesome customer experience. The
Patricio,
number 3, yes.
I didn't hear clearly what the second one you said on the non-negotiables. You said the measurable. What was the second one?
Measurable, coachable.
Coachable. Oh, that's what I thought it was. Okay.
Right. So that they can be coached upon. So if I see someone doing or not doing it, I've got to be able to see them doing or not doing it, because it's a discipline. And then I need to be able to coach them upon that. And if they don't do it, then there has to be consequences. There has to be consequences for those individuals that willingly choose not to display, not to conduct in those non-negotiable standards, as well as rewards for those individuals that exemplify that discipline.
Yes, and if I could just piggyback on that one, when we're creating a culture where everybody understands the importance of the customer experience, instead of the leadership coming down from the top of the mountain with these are our non-negotiable standards, what I expect is that everybody is going to say, how else can I help you? Is to get their input. Hey, what we really want to do is create, what are 2 or 3 things that we want to know that everybody consistently across the board is doing, because your team members who are on the front lines, they're going to come up with some ideas that impress you and surprise you. You want to have them in mind in case they didn't come up with the phrase, how else can we help you? You want to have in your own mind what you want to guide them toward. But man, if it can be an organic conversation and let them be part of that creation and let them have a voice in the creation of those non-negotiable standards, you're going to get a lot more buy-in and a lot more of your internal customers delivering for you.
that it's a kind of a slippery slope there when you use these words like non-negotiable standards coming from the standpoint of the employee who would be coming in. And what Patricia was saying is that the consequences, those also can be, you have to be very, very careful about that, because that could also work against you unless it's done in a way where it's more of a prideful thing, an area of where, like what you said, is that everyone understands what that is, and it's part of their personal integrity. It's their own, what they stand for.
You hit it on the head. And so we see people that would read something like this. Oh, what I need is to assert some non-negotiable standards. So then they go to their employees and lay the law down. These are our non-negotiable standards. Well,
right.
That's not really going to do for your customers what we were hoping. So
if you could reword that in a way where it's because when you see that as non-negotiable standards, anyone who might be new or coming in would see that as more of like
it's all in the way we sell it, because part of our onboarding process with a new hire would be for our team members to excitedly tell them, what I'm so proud of is that we have all agreed that there are certain things that are non-negotiable. And it's for the good of all. It's for who we want to be in the community. It's for who we want to be for our customers. And you can be proud that you're a part of this culture that we've created. And I remember doing this for a school once, where the students wanted to have a say for the feel of their high school experience for new students that were coming in and new guests that were walking through the hallways. And sometimes a new student would come in and toss trash on the floor, and they learned how to communicate that is not the XYZ high school way. That is not how we do things here. So when everybody has that sense of pride, like you alluded to, that non-negotiable standard is like an emblem on their chest. So it's really all in how we sell it. But certainly, I'm comfortable changing what you call it. It's the buy-in factor, right?
I have an idea here, folks. You're watching this, and we're doing this for you out there. And I'd like for you folks that are watching to give us what you think that number 2. We understand what it means, but how can we put it in a way, or maybe your company, you have a way of that might resonate more with someone, could look at it and go, yeah, I can get behind that.
What I really love is, if they do understand the concept when it's being trained, that each team gets to call it what they want. I had a team who called it the hill we die on. What are the 3 things that we're going to call the hill we die on? So it's right. It can be whatever.
Folks, let's hear it. I want to hear it from all of our attendees. All of those folks that would like to pipe in, and let's hear what do you call number 2? We want to hear back and from you people that are watching right now about this. Would be really cool. So okay, I think we got that one. I know you need to go. You said you had an appointment at the top of the hour. Do you want just Patricio and I to finish up?
I actually I communicated, and I got a little bit of leeway, but I appreciate you respecting that timeline. But I'm good to go, so I can be with you for the next 10 minutes if we need it.
You hear that? This is her non-negotiable standard. She is going to deliver for you folks out there. She's going to deliver you some real value. That's what she came to do. And she is.
All right. Thank you, Kristen.
You got it.
And that's a fabulous idea, Abraham. Really good about getting the people involved, because regardless, like Kristen says, regardless of what you call it, it's what you do, how you do it, and the impact it has on our guests. So number 3. Compensate and reward the guest. Okay. And this is another one. It's not about money. It's not about throwing things at the guest. It's at knowing that we did something wrong, because even as the best as we are, something could always go wrong. And even if it doesn't, it's better for us to admit, to say, listen, I'm sorry that this happened to you. I apologize My name is Pat, sir, and I apologize that you've been waiting here long. Please, what can I do for you, right? Ask the customer, ask the guest, what is it that they would like? In my experience, even when I was working on the floor, many people just wanted to vent out. Many people just want to say, okay, could you next time maybe make sure that it doesn't happen? I appreciate you talking to me. But every organization, company, or business has something in their inventory that they certainly can compliment the customer with, whether it's a t-shirt, it's a pen, could be gift certificates, could be discount coupons, or maybe a special 10% discount, or maybe a preference in the delivery time, whatever it is, or sometimes just a genuine, hey, I'm really sorry that we did this wrong, and I apologize that you had to be delayed. I'm really sorry. How about a cup of coffee?
You got it. You got it. And I would just say, to wrap up, one of the things that we learn from companies as they're exploring, who we are and what we do, is that they might think that they have amazing customer service. They do surveys and they get feedback, but they want to make it better. Or companies that have had bad reviews and they don't really know what's going on. But people, they come to us with an idea of what their customer experience is like, but they really don't know. And so if they throw training at their people, they might be able to train them up in some ways that they think is going to make a difference. And maybe their employees can even role play it back, and they can put on a good face. And you believe now we fixed the problem. But do you really know what your customer is experiencing? And I think that's why we're so excited about offering these undercover customer experiences as a way to really get an unbiased, unfiltered look at what does your customer really experience, kind of like that Undercover Boss show. So we go undercover to kind of figure out what is that experience like and create a findings report. And we do the first one at no cost. So I know Abraham was excited to kind of share that with you as if you want to get back with us as to how we can help you create that undercover customer experience, we'd be glad to give you a glimpse of what they're actually going through.
You see that, folks? What I found for you is made this whole thing happen. They said they had something special for us. I didn't know what it was. And originally I told her, look, we want to get some stuff for our all access pass holders, but he said, hey, they do this for everybody, so it wouldn't be fair. And so that means that you folks that signed up for the CX Success Summit that would like to get a reality check, this company here, the Southwestern Consulting Company, they have some sort of a program for you, and it's free. So tell us a little more about it. Like, are we done with the slides?
Yeah, we're done with the slides. And so basically what we do is we customize an avatar with you. So we don't do this outside of you. It's not really like a secret shop where we're just kind of going in and telling you what we find. We want to work with you on who do you want us to be? And what kind of questions do you want me to ask? And then we have a set of standards of really good sales prospects and really good customer service techniques that we're looking for. And then we create a scorecard for you. So we come back together with you and we give you our findings report. We walk through why did we give this person the grade that they got. And then see if you agree with that. And if there are holes to be filled, then we might want to talk about what you might want to do going forward. And if we can maybe partner with you to fill those holes. But getting that undercover customer experience and that scorecard is absolutely complimentary for the first one.
Well, we talk about that a lot here on the CX Success Summit. And this is the first time we've heard an offer from someone that'll actually go out and do it for you. Since it's the first time that you guys are presenting this thing, but our attendees have been hearing this message over and over again, that they need to know what it's like to do business with you. So folks, this is a great surprise for you. It's a surprise for me. I didn't know this was coming, and it's just a real treasure for us to be able to have this opportunity to be able to get it. You see, now aren't you glad you guys signed up for the CX Success Summit? Here you go. We're going to do Yeah, we were planning actually not an undercover boss. We have a CEO challenge that we're trying to work up, where we're going to get the anyone who would like to, that's one of our attendees, a CEO, wants to go sit in the front line and see what it's like to do business. And you don't have to go undercover at all. You just go in there and sit on those front lines and feel what it's like. And like we spoke about is, so you can find out when you go, now who came up with that policy? And then everyone's going to point out, you did. And then you'll understand, oh, okay, I understand. We need to change this. Yes, right away. So here you go. Here you go, folks. Here's another opportunity for you folks to get something, and we're going to put it up. They're going to give you the information how to get in touch with them right now. But of course, we'll get all the links and stuff on the stage page where you can just click and get right to those things. And can we get a copy of these slides too to give to everybody?
Absolutely, you can. Yes.
All right. So we're gonna put those slides up too. This is usually I get the slides to go into the vault for the all access pass holders. But this one we're gonna give to everybody. So. All right, so go ahead and tell us how that they can get in touch with you, and whatever other information you want to. You gave us so much; it's for us to give you back.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for that. You can look me up on LinkedIn, Kristen Hartnagel. That's KRISTEN HARTNAGEL, and I know that's going to be up on your page afterwards. But if you look me up on LinkedIn, that's a great way to connect. My phone number's there on LinkedIn. You could also go to KristenHartnagelSWC.com, which is our own personal website. And Pat, how do they reach you?
The easiest way would be is through Abraham. But my number is 201-803-7958, or through Kristen. Thank you.
You got it.
All right, so we're gonna get all that stuff. You guys will send me that information. We'll just make it a one-click for them to click to your LinkedIn or whatever you want, because we're getting all that stuff to put up around the videos here, and they'll
Perfect.
be able to easily. Our folks deserve a good customer experience too, right?
You got it. Yeah. So we'll have a link to our website that has a way for you to see the whole description of what an undercover customer experience is all about, and a way to get a hold of both Pat and I. And we hope that we can help you with your goals.
Woohoo! This sounds good. All right. Well, listen, I want to thank you both for really sharing some great stuff here. It's real exciting, and Patricio, it's always a pleasure with working with you, and it's nice now we have a new friend. My pleasure, and we have now a new friend here, and thank you for bringing her to us. And I'm sure a lot of folks are gonna be getting to know you a lot better too. Plus, we have our VIP LinkedIn group for the All Access Pass holders. These all our experts will be in those groups, so you'll be able to even make friends with them in this particular arena. It's kind of like when you go to a live event and you go to the lounge, and everybody schmoozes. Well, that's our VIP Facebook group, and those are for the All Access Pass holders. And that's it. So thank you very much for both of you.
Thank you very much. Me be part of it.
Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Abraham.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.